Hi, Dan Clark and Lori Clark. We are the owners and brokers of My Florida Dreams. We live right here in Bay Indies. Today we're coming to you from Lori's home office. Today we want to talk about something, why you should buy from a broker versus buying from a for sale by owner. There's some very important key things that people don't think about when they're buying it. People say, well, it's just like buying a car. But you don't always buy a car from an individual. You usually buy a car from a dealership. And that would be like buying from a broker or buying from the individual. If you're buying from an individual, you need to protect yourself. There's a lot of things that we found in the buku years that we've been doing this, and we're going to talk about some of those nightmares that can come up and grab you when you least expect it. So the biggest issue, number one issue, is titles. And notice I said that plural, titles. A single wide has one title. A double wide has two titles. A triple wide has three titles. Again, after doing this, I sold my first home 20 years ago. You don't know how many times I've walked into a home to list it, and I say, where's your titles? And they hand me one title, and it's a double wide. Where's the other one? Well, that's the only one we got. I says, well, who did you buy this from? Well, we bought it from Joe Blow 10 years ago. Do you know where Joe Blow lives? Because you're going to need a title. You can't sell this thing without having a title. So there's a lot of things that get into that. Lori's the title queen. I'm going to let her give you some examples of what we've had and what we found. Again, why you should buy from a broker, and she'll tell you what we do when we list a home so this doesn't happen.
So the first thing, when the agents go and talk to clients who want to list their home with us, they bring me copies of the titles and copies of the driver's licenses. So I need driver's license to match up with whoever's names are on that title.
That's Florida law, by the way. We have to have copies of the titles and driver's licenses.
So let's say the title has two names on it. It's really, we've got to check and make sure that if it's separated by or, then either of the two names that are on that title can sell the home independent of the other person. If it's two names with an and, then both people need to sign off. They need to be on the listing agreement. They need to sign off on the title, and I need both of their driver's licenses. If somebody hands you the titles and they say, oh, my mom is in a facility, but she told me I could take care of this for her. Wrong answer. Unless the child has power of attorney to be able to take care of this for their parent. And those are all the in and outs that I know to make sure that when we list this home, because obviously ultimately every house that we list we want to sell, we have to have a clear, clean title in order to do that. Second thing that I do is I'll go onto the DMV website and I'll check to make sure that there's no liens on that home. Just because somebody hands you the titles that don't have a lien on that paper title, you could have had a contractor or a vendor put a lien on the home because somebody didn't pay for the air conditioning work. Just like a mechanic can put a lien on a car, a contractor can put a lien on your mobile home. So I'm going to check and make sure that there's no liens on this home before we even list it. So there are lots of other things that are inner workings where you, as an average person buying from the seller, if they hand you a title that doesn't have anything documented on it that says there's a lien, you're not going to know until you go to transfer the titles yourself.
Deaths. We just listed a home where it's now been left to the daughter. Mom and dad just recently passed. And she says, well, I have power of attorney. That power of attorney ended when they died. So now it's got to go through probate, or she has to get a copy of the will showing that it went to her. Does she have brothers and sisters? Because they would be entitled to that too. So somebody's got to be awarded by a magistrate, a judge, or a court that they can legitimately sign for the deceased, the will, the trust, whatever's going on in that case. So it's very important when you have a death or the probate's in place. We won't even list it. We just got the probate and stuff in place on this one, so we're just listing it today. And this home was listed by another agency that sells a lot of homes in here. That just tells you what's going on there.
So the other thing that we didn't even know about until it happened to me once, we listed a home, and when I pulled it up on the DMV website, it had a stop on it. What's a stop? Fortunately, I have a good relationship with the DMV, so I emailed the manager and said, hey, we're looking to list this home. Because titles to mobile homes on leased land, totally different scenario if it's on your own land, any violation that you have on your driving record that maybe hasn't been taken care of through the courts, like you have a speeding ticket that you never paid, they're going to put a stop on the title of the home. And that means until you pay that fine and then you take the proof that that fine has been paid over to the DMV office, that stop will remain on your title and that house cannot be transferred until that's been cleared up.
The other thing is it's the most recent set of titles. Sometimes people had titles, they lost them, or they've added a son or a daughter to the title. If they sign over to you, the not most recent titles, those ones are null and void. So there's a lot of danger, flashing stop signs, red lights going off when it comes to the sale of these homes and titles. You need to make sure that the people selling you the home have clear right to sell you this home, or guess what? They've got your check, they're long gone texting, and you're left holding the bag. Not when you buy through a broker.
Or you find out after you buy the home that you go to transfer the titles at DMV office and their registrations are 5 years past due.
She's not kidding. We just had one that we sold last year that was 12 years past due. They being DMV, state of Florida, will not transfer that over to you until that has been paid. You got 12 years of fees to pay, plus fines and late fees and late charges. So you could get down there, and this one was going to be $1,000, $2,000.
Oh, yeah, it was a
so
lot.
surprise, surprise. The other thing you get down there, you paid them $40,000 for the home. You get down there, you're going to get hit with 6% sales tax when you go to register that. You're going to get hit with title fees for $171. These things are all discussed. We've got a closing cost sheet. You know what each thing is, and we will handle that for you. So you're not dealing with DMV. You're dealing with us. We're going to hand you titles when it's all dead and over with. So again, buying from a broker, buying from a sale by owner, there's a big difference there. Disclosures, we do disclosures on every home. I think we're the only agency that does it. We ask the people, what's wrong with your home? What have you done to your home? We will point out things as an agent that we found. There's an old water leak here. There was an old water leak here. This needs to be done. So those will be properly disclosed to you. We handle those disclosures. There's no surprises. Yes, the owner can tell you what's going on, but are they going to tell you everything? Don't know. That's a chance you're taking. The broker's going to tell you everything that they do know.
Lot rent can sometimes become an issue that can become a bit of a stumbling block. Let's say we sold our house here for sale by owner, and we've been here for 9 years. Our starting point for our rate began 9 years ago. If I sold the house to you, Gino, for sale by owner, and I told you what I'm paying for lot rent now, you may assume that that's what you're going to be paying forever and ever, amen. Guess what? That new buyer is going to go to market the 1st of January of the next year, and they're going to have a pretty decent bump in lot rent. We're going to disclose all of that as an agency, as a broker. So there's no questions, there's no surprises.
You will know the current lot rent for the remainder of the year. You will know what January's lot rent is. Spelled out, crystal clear. It's on our closing cost sheets, it's on our contracts, it's on our offer sheets. No misunderstandings is what we're looking for. And here's the crazy thing. The seller, the person selling the home, pays the commission, not you, Mr. Buyer. The buyers don't pay the commission. The seller does. So it's not like you're paying to use us. They're paying us to sell their home for you.
So here's another thing that could happen if you did for sale by owner, and you're in a community such as Bay Indies. You have to be approved to be able to move into Bay Indies. What if I, as a for sale by owner, I'm the owner of my home, and somebody calls me up because I have an ad in Marketplace, and they say, hey, I'm really interested in your house, and they buy the house. Lo and behold, they're underage, they've got kids, they write me the check, I don't care, I'm getting my money. And then they go up to the park to get approved, they're underage, they have kids, or they have a felony,
Or a big dog.
or a large dog that doesn't qualify. Can you imagine spending that type of money and buying a home and then finding out after the fact you're not approved? We're going to go through that process. We're going to actually make sure that we give folks that qualifying question right up front. Are you over 55? The park is going to do a background check on you. They're going to do a financial. There's going to be no misunderstanding what the qualifications are. We're going to set up our buyers and our sellers for success, not for failure.
And we, the broker, know about financing, those finance sources. We know about insurance. We know about home inspection companies, the right ones to get that are familiar with mobile homes, not just home ones. all of those things, a broker knows where a seller for sale by owner has no clue or not much of a clue. So again, use our experience, use our expertise. Our experience in selling almost 300 homes in the last 2 years, and me selling homes in here for 20 years, and I've got agents 3, 4, 5, 7 years. They know what they're doing, and they can answer a lot of questions that the seller may not even be able to answer.
Buying through a broker just makes sense. It just, yeah, it's what we do for a living, but it makes sense. You're protecting everybody.
Choosing the right broker is the key. Ask your broker that you're talking with, how many homes have you sold in Bay Indies this year? How long have you been doing this? They may have a pretty sign, and they may have a card, and they've got a number and a website, but I'll tell you, they don't have what we have. We're doing this because we've been here. My parents have been here for 18 years. We've been here living in this home right now for 9 years. We love the park. We enjoy the lifestyle. It's where we're going to retire when we're done with My Florida Dreams down the road a ways. So that's why you should consider buying from a broker. That's why, versus buying from a for sale by owner. You're not paying anyway. Use our expertise and make sure that you don't get any danger zones. Take those flashing lights, those question marks, all those things out of the picture. Buy from a broker. Give My Florida Dreams a call.